This the start of the year, we had our national training camp. I don't think we've had a national training camp for a while, but usually it's been all together at one at the start of the year. But this year it was split into two. So the same weekend, but one was in Perth and one was in Melbourne. And some people were a bit confused about that, and I can understand why. But it was event specific. So that means the one in Perth was dedicated to the senior team world championships, and the one in Melbourne was pretty much dedicated to the cadet, junior, and under 21 world championships. So anyone that was wanting to be selected for that event, trying to get a spot for the team event, was sent over to those respective camps, and it was really, really event specific. So not just for the whole squad. Some people will see this as a bit of a bad thing. Some people would love it. Personally, I love it because it's, we've been wanting a concentrated camp for a long time. Oh my gosh. I can't leave that. I'm so sorry. I can't leave that. I'm so sorry that I've said that. And
That didn't just happen.
I can't
A very
believe.
specific
Did you
camp.
did
A
you,
very-
did
very-
you flag that
feel like-
before?
No, let's just move on anyway. Okay.
A very
A
specific
camp.
But I think it was important they were specific, right? Like, it's not just a split in junior. Well, Mitch gathers himself. I'll take over.
Please.
It's not just a like a split in juniors, seniors. It's an even event specific. One of the events is now a team world championship, and so I think getting the ability to cater towards a team event, put a team together. It's pretty rare that you're not going to just represent obviously Australia, but in an individual event, you're now going as part of a team. There's a whole different concept behind that, both in terms of preparation, but who you're fighting for or doing kata for, and the psychology behind that and working together, I imagine would be quite different. It sounds like the senior camp was like really good from getting that. It was the specific really pulled off, and I think it was brave of the AKF to actually do something different, because it's very common you do something different, everyone goes, why didn't we just do it how we always do it?
Yeah.
So it's nice to hear there's good feedback, and hopefully the junior camp was the same.
Well, I think that's what it is. It allows the coaches to be more specific with the juniors as well. Cadets, juniors, under 21s, they're going for their biggest event for the year, or their biggest event for a 2-year cycle. You've got your youth leagues and you've got all of that stuff going on, but this is their mecca for karate for them. So it allowed the coaches to really hone in on what they wanted to achieve for those juniors. And from what I heard, every junior that went said it was a fantastic experience.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it is 2 teams going away at the end of the year. It's not one Australian team going to the same location and competing together. It is the senior team and it is the junior team. So I think splitting it up allows for especially the junior team, for the older ones, especially like the under 21s, to establish a bit of leadership within the group, because they will be the ones who are taking the team over, and you've got to have that leadership within the team separate from the coaches. So I hope that did become a bit established, and it's only going to be more and more throughout the year. Obviously the teams aren't in concrete, that they're not selected yet, but as throughout the year, there'll be natural leaders, and I'm keen to see who those are. And
I think it's so good to allow those 2 areas to flourish. But in saying that, you still need both styles of camps. And I think that's what the other side of the coin is having it split. Does that create separation? In a way, it sort of does. But I think if you still have that other camp where you're all together as a full squad, you're doing that team building stuff, you're all together with not just juniors, seniors, but elite, developmental, all of that, all at once. And that's happening at Australian Open the 2 days after that.
Yeah. So if it would be an issue if there wasn't that
absolutely
additional camp.
Yeah.
If it was only one and it was split, then you're completely segregating the seniors from the juniors, and that's never a good idea, because at the end of the day, the juniors look up to the seniors, and the seniors need to be interacting with those juniors who are coming through the ranks. So having 2 camps this year, the first one that has already been, and the together one after the Australian Open, it's vital.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's great as well that it's straight after the Australian Open. At least when I was doing it, they weren't doing that, and it was like a separate trip, and I think it's so good. Everyone's there for the Australian Open. You should be anyway if you're trying to get into the Australian team. And so to be able to just bounce back off that into a camp is fantastic. And then those camps, I remember when I was a junior, you're looking up to the big guys, you know, the senior men and women. How do they train? That's what karate can be like.
Mm.
That's the mentality people can take.